you spent, you said about 5 years at Gramercy. What was your next move from there?
So actually, it was this is like the best example of Mike Anthony in my opinion. So
Mhm.
I was working at Gramercy. Had the dream job. I was 26. It was like, it was fun. I was learning. I was progressing. It was perfect. And someone approached me to be a chef partner of a restaurant called Maysville, that was opening on 26th Street, a few blocks north of Gramercy. And
Yeah.
right away, I
Mhm.
was
I
like,
remember
"Yeah,
it.
I love what I do." And the owner and I started to talk. He said, "You know what? Why don't you just do a tasting and just see how it goes?" And I said, "You know what?
Mhm. Mhm.
Let me talk to Mike and see what he thinks." And Mike's like, "Yeah, we'll do a tasting. Do that, see how it feels. If it feels good, we can
Nice.
continue to chat about what the evolution would be for you to move on." And so I did the tasting, and it started to feel like, oh, this could be a great opportunity. And with Mike's guidance, I would say for about a month and a half to 2 months, led to him saying, I think you should move on and do it. And he said, and I think you should take two people from here to be part of your opening team.
What?
And
Wow.
yeah. And so
Wow.
when I left Gramercy, I opened Maysville, and I took, and the took's not the right word because, people use that term of like, oh yeah, this guy took.
Right, right,
It was truly
right.
like Mike's like, you
Stolen.
should have the support of two cooks from here when you open your restaurant.
Wow.
And that's what it was.
That's unheard of right there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just absolutely unheard of. I've never come across any, chef that ever did that, let alone just supporting you on your way
right,
out. I mean, it shows that you clearly made an impact on their restaurant, and I think that's something that Mike talks about as well, that he wants every person to contribute to the story of Gramercy, and that's really even one of his interview questions, I believe, that he asks is, "How can you contribute
right,
to the success of this restaurant?
right,
How do you plan on doing that?
right,
We don't want you just coming in the door and coming up and showing up. We want you to be a contributing member of this restaurant." But for him to say, "Take 2 cooks with you," uh, clearly you made impact on that restaurant. He was, in a sense, rewarding you for your efforts, and I think also with upward mobility as an important factor in any restaurant, he probably had the foresight to think, if you move on, it gives other people an opportunity to move up as
right,
well, and, if you spend more than 3 or 4 years at a restaurant and you've dedicated, an entire, um, career almost to that restaurant, that's an amazing way to leave, and that just shows your impact for sure.
and I would say like he was also thinking about it was great opportunity for Arun and Tarek to be a part of, like looking at their experience at Gramercy and where they were. I think it had a lot to do with that as well as, this isn't
Nice.
going to be Gramercy Tavern, but it's definitely going to be, you know, a branch off of what we do. And this is a great
Yeah,
opportunity for those guys.
that's cool, that's cool. I wanna talk about, you a little bit, and kinda dive into, what kind of habits of success that you've developed over the years, and talk about, like, what makes you different than other chefs. What sets you apart personally? What do you feel like your biggest value is, in the restaurant as a chef? And also, just how you wanna be perceived amongst your, community.
Sure. Um, you know, I think the style of cooking, like wanting things to be fresh and bright, is like that really represents how I cook, which I think is
Mhm.
a little, it's a little refreshing to see. But I think
Mhm.
overall, I think it's, all the things I learned from my mentors and those experiences in cooking in New Orleans and New York, and um, like really wanting to create a culture in a restaurant that um, is driven by front and back of the house, and you know, wanting guests and everybody to have the kind of obviously have different experiences when you're here, but to have the same level of experience of if you're at work or if you're eating, like it's still a great time, and it's something you want to be doing. I think those are
Yeah.
the most important things. Um, but I we take a lot of pride in getting to know the farmers, and I think a lot of it's been a trend for a long time, cooking farm to table, but really developing those relationships with the farmers and getting to know them and letting them get to know you, and um, cooking for them and showing what's happening with the stuff that they grow and raise, I think is really important.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think those are relationships that really kind of show when you eat at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I really value those relationships, so much, and I find it so
Yeah.
important with what we do.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Chef Radio Podcast. If you like what you hear, check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll hear full-length episodes of me interviewing chefs from all over the country and the world. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Share it with your fellow chefs and food enthusiasts. So until next time, I'm Eli Kulp. Thank you for watching. And remember to keep pushing yourself to be better and be kind to each other.